Welcome to the 2016 Pygmalion Film Festival. I'd like to start off by talking about the film which best captures the spirit of Pygmalion, Ruby Sparks. This adaptation captures the spirit of the play, which is most definitely the idea of having varying perspectives of perfection. A reader has a different perspective than Shaw himself. Many readers argue that Eliza and Henry were supposed to end up together, since they are the main characters, but Shaw believes otherwise. In the sequel, Shaw writes, Eliza, in telling Higgins she would not marry him if he asked, was announcing a well-considered decision. He explains how Eliza purposely chose to be with Freddie over Higgins. Higgins did not suit the needs of Eliza, and Shaw recognizes that happiness is closer to perfection than an unrealistic relationship that was pressured to happen will ever be. One can approach or strive to have this idea of perfection, but it is practically unachievable. People don't want the exact same things, and with everyone disagreeing, it is difficult to achieve. There are many perspectives which contrast one another. If nobody is looking for the same thing, then nothing will be achieved. Someone may be able to come close to perfection, but they cannot actually reach it. Eliza describes the loss of her ideal life by saying, I sold flowers, I didn't sell myself. Now you've made a lady of me, I'm not fit to sell anything else. Eliza strives for something that does not line up with the ideas of the people around her, including Higgins. The real question is, what is perfection and how can one even define it? Perfection is a common goal or idea that people have and are almost always unsuccessful when they try to obtain. People get this idea of what perfection should be because of how it is portrayed in movies, books, and magazines. So people start to believe that it's in their reach, but does it really exist? Literary scholar Bowman Kalaja supports this idea in her literary criticism. She states, does Higgins liberate Eliza or subjugate her? Has he stripped her of an authentic identity, declassing her in a way that irrevocably destabilizes her true-born self? She outlines how Higgins is truthfully hurting Eliza rather than helping her, and how her ideal relationship does not line up with Higgins' ideal relationship, where he has power. Bowman Kalaja reveals Eliza's idea of perfection by writing, she wants nothing more than to become a girl in a flower shop, an only slightly glorified version of her working-class self. Eliza does not want to become a married woman, but due to Higgins' class, the perfect woman in his eyes is elegant and married. For Eliza, perfection is selling flowers in a store rather than on a street. This is a very different idea from that of Higgins. The film Ruby Sparks shows this idea too. Calvin reveals this by exclaiming, she said it was your dream girl. That's what happened to me. Calvin explains how Ruby is perfect for him and how she is everything he had ever dreamed of. This is only because he created her, but when she drifts away from being his ideal woman and gains her own characteristics, Calvin begins to lose his spark of love that he had before. On the other hand, Ruby does not want to be tied to Calvin all the time. Ruby states, you don't get to decide what I do. And Calvin replies, want to bet? Ruby wants to be her own person, as her and Calvin have different views of perfection and ultimately want different things. Calvin altering Ruby reveals that nothing is perfect, with or without changes. Movie critics Podhoretz and Woody both offer reasoning as to why this idea is true. The 2012 movie review from the Weekly Standard shows how Ruby does not love Calvin in the same way that he loves her. Podhoretz writes, and though she might have been designed to be his girlfriend, after a blissful first few weeks, it becomes clear that being his girlfriend is not enough for her, just as it would not be enough for anyone real. This shows how Calvin's dream of Ruby is just unreal. Ruby wants to take a break once a week, while Calvin does not want to let Ruby go. Ruby is not finding Calvin perfect in the same way he finds her perfect, due to their varying perspectives. In all honesty, the relationship is not even perfect for Calvin, despite what he thinks. Podhoretz explains this by writing, the arrival of the perfect woman turns out to be just another reason for him to express dissatisfaction and neediness in equal measure. Forcing this love results in Calvin being greedy and needy, as he makes changes to Ruby in order to make her more perfect. Calvin was being changed for the worse. Movie reviewer Stephen Witt writes, you see what you want to see. You see the person you wanted me to be. But that's not who I am. That's never who I was. You created that. People try to create something perfect in their mind, but it never seems to come true. In reality, it's just pure imagination. Although Ruby Sparks may leave out some details about social status, it still manages to capture the spirit of the play by revealing the difficulties of achieving perfection. It is true that Calvin does not change the social status of Ruby in the way that Higgins changes the social status of Eliza, but changing status just isn't Calvin's way of making someone perfect. Both of these men attempt to force these women to fit their visions of perfection. Higgins forces Eliza to become an elegant upper-class woman, while Calvin forces Ruby to love him. Ruby Sparks offers a new perspective of the play, which ultimately strengthens the argument. It reassures the idea of perfection being unachievable, remaining true in both of the plots. Calvin and Higgins both try to create the perfect girl, while Ruby and Eliza both desire a life which they can call perfect. No one can achieve their goals, since everyone has a different idea of perfection in their mind. The strong ties between these two films reveal how this adaptation best suits the play Pygmalion. They both display the common idea of having varying ideas of perfection, and they connect in numerous ways. Due to this, Ruby Sparks is most definitely the best choice for the 2016 Pygmalion Film Festival. Thank you.